More than 20 years ago, President Reagan stood in Berlin and delivered this famous speech.
If you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
2 years later, history ruptured and the unthinkable took place. The Berlin Wall, an unshakable symbol of what felt like an eternal rift between the communist world and the free world, was torn down and Germany was reunified. But now Berlin is divided once again between a real estate developer who wants to move a piece of one of the few remaining sections of the wall and the city's mayor who's trying to ensure that the structure is preserved. Joining us is a man for whom the wall is close to his heart, David Hasselhoff. David, thanks so much for being with us. You were there in 1989 celebrating with the crowds. I want to show our viewers a clip of the moment that spurred your activism. Let's just take a look.
One morning in June, some 20 years ago, I was born a rich man's son. I had everything that money could buy, but freedom I had none. I've been looking for freedom. I've been looking so long.
David, it is not often that any superstar gets the privilege, the opportunity to be at a junction in history like that. Just take us back to that night. Do you remember it like it was yesterday?
Yeah, like it was yesterday, because I'm so glad to be a part of this, because it was an amazing moment. And I was called by a channel called ZDF to do a television show called The Sylvester Show, which is like a New Year's Eve show. Would you please come and do the show and sing Looking for Freedom, which was #1 for 8 weeks that year, was the #1 single of the year. And I said, only if I can sing on the wall. And I'm knowing fully that they would say no. They had to get Honecker, who was the Chancellor of East Germany, and Helmut Kohl, who was the West Germany Chancellor's approval. They called back and they said yes. I said, oh my God. So I took 10 of my friends, said, I got a suite, we can all bunk in together, just get over there. There's history being made. It's because this is going to be bigger than any freedom celebration I've ever seen. And it was like Woodstock meets freedom. And
yeah.
We went over that night, and I was taken up to rehearsal, and my wife was 7 months pregnant. She was hoisted on the wall, and they were singing 1 million East Germans, West Germans on either side of the wall. And on the wall, people were from all over the world. And they actually had a band on the wall playing Looking for Freedom. And they were then sang to 1 million people that night. And it was an honor and a privilege. And I've never, I knew the importance of that. And it got hardly any coverage in America. So it's so great now to see that even, 24 years later, it's getting the attention that it needs. So it's kind of ironic that I was there and the walls come down, and now I'm here to try to keep the wall standing.
Did you, so just to clarify, this was New Year's, right? So this was a few weeks after the wall had come down that this concert took place. Did you feel a pre-existing kind of passion for Germany, for the German people? Was this something that was close to your heart, apart from just the fact that it was obviously the biggest story in the world for decades?
I experienced it live. I went into East Berlin many times, maybe 20. And people would say, when is the wall coming down? I remember looking at one of my promoters, and he goes, never in my lifetime. We're looking at the Russian German soldiers walking on the top of Brandenburg Gate, watching people going along, flipping them off because they were appalled at what was happening. I met 2 East German girls in Alexanderplatz, and I went behind the wall to do a layout at the Grand Hotel, which was this big, gorgeous hotel full of gold, and everything was gold, gold, gold. And I looked outside, and all the people were walking around like it was in black and white. And I said, what are we doing inside? Let's go outside and talk to the people. And I talked to 2 little girls. They said, yeah, we know you as the man who sings about freedom. I said, what about the talking car? They thought I was crazy.